Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We thank God for today. And on behalf of my team, I would like to thank the head pastor and the pastoral team and the elders of the church for giving us this opportunity to worship with you today. Today is the last Sunday of November, and this date is an important date on the Commission's calendar. Every year on this day, we worship with Christians. So we go to churches, and this year we chose to come to the Church of Pentecost, which is the largest church in Ghana. It is important day on our calendar because 1st of December is set aside by the UN to commemorate the World AIDS Day. And this year, World AIDS Day falls on Wednesday, the 1st, which is just about 3 days away from now. And every year we have a theme for the World AIDS Day commemoration. And this year's theme is Ending Inequalities, End AIDS, and End Pandemics. Why inequalities? Because inequalities actually drive the HIV epidemic and many other pandemics as well. And I will use just a few examples to describe inequalities. As we all know, there is power imbalance when it comes to male-female relationship. And here I'm talking about married couples. Traditionally, the man has more power in the home than the woman. And so the woman's ability to contribute and have peaceful home, harmonious home, and prosperous home is usually limited by these power relations. And because the woman's power is limited, even when the man is having extramarital affairs, no matter what she does, she cannot control the behavior of the man. And sometimes it even leads to violence, where the man visits the woman with violence. And so, if the man having extramarital affairs ends up picking HIV or any sexually transmitted infections, there is no way that woman can be protected. And that is how HIV spreads. We also witness sexual violence and domestic violence. And sexual violence, we are talking about rape and forced sex, which occurs in many places in our society. And so it is with domestic violence. This year we have seen extreme forms of domestic violence, where we have many cases of spousal killings. But before a man will kill the spouse, It means that violence has actually been perpetrated within that relationship to the extent that it has to end by taking the life of the woman. And so these things actually have significant impact on the HIV situation, not only in Ghana, but everywhere. 2 years ago, COVID-19 emerged in the whole world, including Ghana. And we are now seeing the impact of COVID-19 on many countries. In fact, the whole world is suffering the severe impact on the economies. In Ghana, we are not seeing much, but in many countries, just after the lockdown, many companies closed down. They collapsed because they had lost their capital, they had lost everything, and those companies are dead up till now. There are countries where you have money, but you go to shops, supermarkets, you can't find food to buy. We are also having our fair share as a country of the impact of COVID-19. So everybody is complaining that there is so much hardships. That is what COVID has done. But in the beginning of HIV, the same thing happened. Many countries could not even find food because the people who have to produce the food had died, or they were severely ill to the extent that they can no longer work on the farms. HIV reduced life expectancy in many countries like Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Zambia, and other countries in Africa to less than 45 years. If I mean to go on and on, there are a lot I would say about the impact of HIV. Now, what that is telling us is that if we do not eliminate AIDS and reduce new infections and AIDS-related deaths and ensure that we achieve epidemic control, and this I mean make HIV as a no longer public health threat. If HIV does not become non-threatening public health issue, then we stand the risk of seeing what we saw at the beginning of the epidemic. And so our being here this morning is to build partnership with the Church of Pentecost, with all churches, and we want to use this platform to announce to the Christian Council, the Pentecostal and Charismatic Councils, and all the other Christian groups that the best way of defeating this epidemic is all of us working together. And the church has a very important role to play. Why? Because Ghana is more than 70% Christian country. I mean, the population of Ghana, we have about 70% of them being Christians. And what does that mean? That means about 70% of the population is in the church. And if the 70% is in the church, that is where we can find the chunk of Ghanaian population who are infected with HIV. And so, working together would enable us to reduce new infections, eliminate AIDS because we have treatment. If you are infected with HIV, It is not a death sentence, and you should not be ashamed of it. You should not be ashamed of yourself, because HIV is a chronic disease like any other chronic disease, hypertension or diabetes. If you will continue to take your antiretroviral medicines every day, and now with the help of technology, new medicines are coming to the market where you just take one jab, and for 1 month, 2 months, you will not have to take medicine. We pray and hope that we will find the money to bring such drugs into Ghana. But the important thing is that you have to adhere to treatment. And as long as you do that, you will have your normal lifespan like anyone who does not have HIV. Number 2 is that you will not fall sick, you will not develop AIDS, and you will not die. You will live a normal life. You will be productive, and even if you want to have children, you can have children who are HIV negative. All you have to do is to take your medicines religiously. But if you don't have HIV, what it means is that you have to continue to do the things that keep you negative, which means you have to reduce your risk. You have to reduce your risk. And reducing the risk means that don't do anything that would expose you to HIV infection. And what are those things? Number 1, 80% of HIV transmission in Ghana is through sexual contact. So, if you are not married, abstain from sex. And if you are married, stick to your partner. But you can prevent HIV more effectively if you know your status. If you don't know, if you have HIV and you don't know, it will be a folly to think that you are protecting yourself, because you already have it. So just do the test. Both of you should do the test. And if both of you are negative, then you maintain your negative status by avoiding extramarital sex. If you are positive or one of you is positive, you can still live happily together as a couple. Why? Because antiretroviral medicines will protect both of you. The one who is positive, it will protect her or him. And if the person is virally suppressed, what it means is that she cannot give the virus through sexual contact to his or her partner. That is why everybody who lives with HIV must take his antiretroviral treatment very seriously. The second thing that exposes people to HIV infection is through mother-to-child transmission. The unborn baby can be infected if the mother is infected and the mother is not on treatment. It is also possible for the baby to get infected during delivery or breastfeeding. And so it is important for every mother to go to hospital and have counseling and support, and of course HIV test, so that she will receive the needed support if she has HIV. And that would, the nurses and the doctors will support you to have HIV-free baby, and you yourself will have very good health because of antiretroviral treatment, and you will live, both of you, you and your husband will live happily without even thinking or worrying about HIV infection. The third one is using contaminated objects, or maybe transfusion, blood transfusion, or exchanging, bodily fluids and blood, and of course, organs. But this area is quite rare for many people to get HIV through blood transfusion, for example, or through surgical operation for transplantation or something like that, because the products used are usually well screened before they are used to prevent any infections, not just HIV. And so you can take care of yourself. If you don't want to have HIV, you will never get it. It's only a matter of reducing your risk. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to see ourselves as strong partners for the elimination of AIDS in this country. Our policy and our strategy is to diagnose at least 95% of all persons living with HIV in the country by the end of 2025. As at the end of last year, 63% of people living with HIV had been diagnosed. We want to see that by the end of this year, and of course, by the middle of next year, we should be getting close to the 95%. What that will take is for us to mainstream HIV into the operations of our church, promoting testing, reducing stigma and discrimination associated with HIV, and supporting women, especially pregnant women, to access HIV services in health facilities, and supporting people who live with HIV and are members of our church to adhere to treatment, and then working together to prevent HIV in our communities. If we have this kind of partnership and work together, in the next 5 years, we will be able to eliminate AIDS, because it is possible. Thank you very much.
I want to introduce Mr. Jeremiah Tuahini. He's the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. And then he came together with some members of the commission. Please, can you stand on your feet? Let the church acknowledge you. This is a good big size delegation, and we are grateful to you for that.